I've lived in Belle Mina since 1949. I grew up here, went to school, went to church. Name it, I've done it.
My name is Johnny Booker, and I have lived in Belle Mina all of my life, really.
I moved to Belle Mina in 1964. This is my property, is my grandmother's home, and I grew up here.
And we just all like, I would say sisters and brothers. That's just how close we are in this community.
This is home. I would like for it to stay as home.
It's going to be the biggest loss that we've ever had. Just like losing a family.
I'm currently in a fight against a quarry that's here in town. I'm the minister here at Belle Mina Methodist Church. I've been a minister for 21 years. I've been at Belle Mina for 4. We built the building in 1897, and over time it kind of became a rallying point at different points of trouble for the town. And so we have hosted the town time and time again, and we carry on that legacy. They came in with the intention that maybe we wouldn't notice it first, and by the time it got started, we wouldn't be able to mount a fight, or maybe we just wouldn't fight. They were wrong about that.
Well, Pastor Cody called us and called us and called us. The community had met with some dead ends after meeting with their legislators and meeting with their county commission, so they needed legal support. So we decided to get involved at that point. The Belle Mina quarry, wasn't a quarry 7 months ago. It was agricultural fields. It sits on 200 acres of land. The proposed pit is going to be 85 acres of land. It sits right adjacent to Mooresville Road.
A quarry is just a place where we extract rock and minerals from the ground. In North Alabama, a lot of the rock that's very close to the surface is limestone. Limestone is quarried and used in material that goes into our road beds. It's poured along with the asphalt and concrete to provide the substance of our roads. It's uneconomic to transport large quantities of stone, more than about 25 or 50 miles. So if there's particularly a road building project, then quarries would need to be opened up along the way in that construction project in order to be economic.
Grayson Carter and Son is a road building company. So they want easy to get limestone for their roads. Limestone can be obtained in a lot of different places in Limestone County. This is all about money. These operators have decided to operate right next to a community instead of finding another place that would be more suitable. This quarry is literally across a county road from this community. It's literally a stone's throw from the community.
I wish it wasn't here. I know they're close. They're 500. They're closer than 500 feet to me. I just think it's all about money.
So the actual quarry footprint is literally 25 feet from the nearest resident. There are quarries popping up in different places, and you don't want to be stuck in a house that you can then not sell. A problem with these quarries is that they really undermine the property values of these houses.
It would have been nice. We heard hints. Nobody actually came and went door to door and asked us, said that they were going to put in a quarry and asked us our feelings about it, which, they had the money, they could do what they want, but it would have been respectful if they had, but they did not. We were just overlooked as if we were peons.
I think the biggest thing that stands out about this particular situation is the lack of engagement with the community. You may see activity at a quarry for more than 100 years. So it's not a quick operation where they come in and extract resources and then they're gone. It can go on for generations. And so for a quarry operator to come in and dictate the future for this whole entire area without any input from the people who have made homes there, it is tremendously disappointing.
They did not consult the community, so by the time they were here, it was impossible for them to escape. This town hosts over 150 people, mostly African American, and it's actually unincorporated because in Alabama you need 200 people to incorporate.
If you were in a municipality, they could not blast next door because there would be zoning. If you live in an unincorporated area, there is no zoning to protect the community. A quarry could pop up right next door to you. The laws that protect you are the nuisance laws. And so that is what we have filed a case under, is the nuisance laws.
This area has a lot of people who are disenfranchised. They are also descendants of slaves, and they have been completely taken advantage of from the onset of their arrival here in the town. The land was was farmed before the quarry was there, and there were no berms. There was no giant pit. They made sure to put a quarry punishingly next to people that could never leave.
They say that they should be able to do whatever they want with their land. And while that is somewhat true, you don't have the right to do whatever you want with your land if it hurts or harms your neighbor.
At night, it's just so noisy at night. It seems like they in our backyard, the blasting, the lights shining. They are working 24/7.
The noise is a constant complaint that we're hearing from everybody. They go from this country setting to they're in the middle of a construction zone.
And so we're worried about our ability to simply sit on the front porch and talk to our neighbors. That's near impossible when they're doing that now.
At first, you couldn't hear, but the deeper they get, the worse they get.
Right now, they're in their infancy stage. The pit is only a couple of acres large. It's only about 60 feet deep. But remember, it's going to get to 85 acres and go down to 200 feet.
Well, now some of the people said they dishes and things just shake, and some of them have broken in their cabinets, the ones that are close to.
Some of my stuff on my wall shifted a little bit.
We're worried about the tremors, that they're going to disrupt foundations, particularly because the quarry is located so close to homes. These are homes that are occupied by people who are on fixed income. They don't have the means to fix their house, they don't have the means to fix their foundation.
This is one of the worst places to quarry in all of Alabama because of the fact that it sits on karst topography.
Karst landscape means that there are openings underground. The percolating acidic groundwater opens up fractures in the limestone that's near the surface and creates these cavities that become part of the karst landscape. So the karst landscape typically that we find here in Alabama is developed within those limestone areas where those openings have become large enough for groundwater to flow.
We know the quarry sits on a sinkhole. There's sinkholes all around the community.
We're worried about the very ground underneath us, if it's going to open up and swallow us because of sinkholes formed, because the water has changed and the blasting has caused it.
Quarries and groundwater have a pretty close relationship, so almost every quarry digs till they hit water, and that's groundwater. And once they start hitting groundwater, they need to pump that out to be able to continue to work in the pit.
What's going to happen is they pump the groundwater out and they put them in these different sediment basins. The sediment basins are close to Limestone Creek.
We use the Limestone Creek as our baptism area, and so we're worried about water level.
Careless development, sometimes these quarries can drain the groundwater resources for the whole aquifer. It changes the hydrology. It's destabilizing what typically are pretty stable habitats.
Well, I was just thinking that it was the blasting, what it would do to your property, the housing, what it's going to do to our health.
You have the dust that comes from not only comes from the blast, but you have dust that comes from the trucks as they load and unload. Those trucks are not always covered and they're traveling up and down Mooresville Road. Then you have the dust from the crushers. We know that that's why they have their air permit, is to regulate only the dust from the crushers. The permanent crusher will emit 20 tons of dust per year once they get that in place.
Well, for me, I'm concerned about the health of the residents.
Dust causes a lot of health issues, especially for the more vulnerable populations, people who have allergies, people who have asthma, people who have respiratory issues. And so dust can be a real health problem.
I like Belle Mina. Yeah, I'm comfortable being here in Belle Mina. My church is right down here. And I know everybody here in the community pretty much. This is my home.
We've wanted to be good neighbors with the quarry, but they have, we've asked them to be, but they have not been. They've been horrible neighbors, unwilling to cooperate, unwilling to help, unwilling to right their wrongs. They didn't know who they were dealing with, and I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about the tenacity of the people in this community. They fought, and they're still fighting as hard as they can for their livelihoods and for their health.
I don't really want to leave my home, you know. I've been here for a long time, and then my family went through a lot to get this land and stuff, you know, so why would I want to, you know, move? But, you know, we just have to do what we have to do.
You know, it's not a good place for the quarry. A lot of people here gonna have to move, and I'm number one. Because I have asthma, COPD, name it, I got it. I'm already packing. That's what I got. Yes, I'm gonna have to go.
You know, this is a rare example of how a community is almost 100% opposed to this quarry. I don't know one community member that is actually in favor of the quarry. It's just really such a beautiful thing to see the community all united like that.
These people give me hope. They are unwilling to back down.
This quarry is an injustice to the community and it needs to be stopped.
I don't believe that just because they've started working that and there's any way that they won't be able to stop. That's preposterous and defies logic. So I have hope that we'll stop them.